Afternoon Adventures, coming at you today with the G spells that have changed in the 2024 Player's Handbook, starting with G. Here we go. There aren't that many of these in the last one, so hopefully the video shouldn't be too long. In any case, before I get started, actually, I do want to mention I missed one in the Fs, that is False Life. That actually gives you 2d4 plus 4 temporary hit points now at first level, instead of 1d4 plus 4. It still scales the same though, with a flat 5 per spell level. With that out of the way, let's get into the Gs now, starting with Gaseous Form. This now allows the target to end the effect as a bonus action, instead of having to wait for either concentration to end or the spell to otherwise just run out. The spell also no longer specifies that it can't be used on incorporeal creatures. Not that they'd gain much of a benefit from this, I don't think, but we can cast it on ghosts and the like now. And the spell now benefits from upcasting by gaining another target per spell level above 3rd. Gentle Repose has had a minor change in that its material component, 2 copper pieces, now instead of placing them on the eyes of the target and leaving them there for the duration lest the spell end early, now the spell simply consumes the coppers and the spell lasts as long as it lasts. Giant Insect has changed significantly in that it now functions more like the Summon family of spells. Instead of transforming a creature, or a handful of creatures, little bugs, into really big bugs, now it simply summons one. The spell is now Conjuration instead of Transmutation, fittingly, and comes with its own stat block, which has variants for the Wasp, Centipede, and Spider. Upcasting the spell now affects the HP and AC of the creature, as well as how many attacks it makes, and the damage it deals, much like all those other summon spells. Glibness is now enchantment rather than transmutation, otherwise it's exactly the same. Goodberry is now conjuration instead of transmutation, and now has a duration of 24 hours, meaning that it can actually be dispelled one berry at a time, if anyone cares to do that, and the berries can also be suppressed in an anti-magic field. Berries also fully disappear now at the end of the spell's duration, instead of losing their potency, for whatever that's worth. Grasping Vine has had a glow up. Its range has doubled from 30 feet to 60 feet, and now the vine can sprout from any surface, not just the ground. Meaning, it can pull enemies upward, if you want, or across chasms, etc. The vine now uses a melee spell attack instead of a dexterity saving throw, and on a hit it deals 4d8 bludgeoning damage. It didn't used to do any bludgeoning damage. And pulls the creature up to 30 feet, and if the creature is huge or smaller, it is grappled. It can only grapple one creature at a time, but if cast above 4th level, the spell can have multiple creatures grappled at the same time, though you only grapple one on each turn with the spell. Grease works the same as it always has, but now specifies in no unclear terms that it is not flammable. Greater Invisibility works the same as it always has, but no longer specifies that worn and carried objects are invisible as well, because that is now covered by the invisible condition in the rules glossary. Guards and Wards has changed considerably. The casting time is now 1 hour, up from 10 minutes. A lot of the material components have been removed, and it is now only a 10 gold piece silver rod. The caster can now exempt creatures from only certain effects if they want to, so for example, if you want your friends to be immune to all the effects except the fog, they won't be able to see anything, but they won't get hurt or pushed around. Is that useful? I don't know, but you can do it. It's also important to note that Arcane Lock, Gust of Wind, Dancing Lights, Suggestion, Stinking Cloud, and Web have all changed, and those changes impact this spell as well. Guidance now requires the caster to pick a specific spell, and that spell for the next minute for the target has plus 1d4 to its rolls. It used to be that any ability check rolled by the target once got the bonus. Now it is all checks with that skill from it. So if you know that the bard is going to be trying to persuade people a lot, or the rogue is going to open multiple locks in the next minute, guidance is even better for those things. It is important to note that guidance cannot be used on initiative any longer, because initiative is not a skill. And last but not least, like I actually mentioned a moment ago, Gust of Wind has changed in that it now pushes creatures at the time of casting and when they end their turn in the area, rather than at the start of their turn. This is nice if you want to push creatures at the same time right away, and you don't have to wait until their turn starts. And that's it for the Gs. I said there weren't that many of them. So that is all for today's video. That's about all I wanted to say. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Like and subscribe and whatever. Happy adventuring.